it is the most, I think in my eyes, the most brutal place I've ever been. Um, so we arrive, well, first we go to Zanzibar, 15 guys, a lot of us rugby players, and when you get all the 50, like a bunch of rugby players together drinking,
A hell
it
of a
always
time with the
gets a bit,
boys.
it gets rowdy. So we ended up the night before going out until 5, whatever it
Sure.
was,
Late night with
leaving
the
at
lads.
5:30 to go to Latham Island.
Oh,
So arrive back,
quick
don't sleep,
turnaround.
get our shit, get on a boat, and three boats that are like private, okay, decent boats, and then there's two boats that are rented, and I'm on one of those two rented boats, and those two rented boats are kind of not great. No
None.
shade,
Oh,
no. So we just ate sunlight for hungover at 6 a.m. in the morning until
oh,
one like 6 7 hours of sun.
sleep
Uh,
deprived, just liquor sweating through the skull.
yeah, all the good stuff, just like brutal start to the trip. That's first day over, and we arrive on this
Battle.
island. Beautiful. The water is the most blue. I've never seen any water like that anywhere in the world in my life. Crazy clear water, beautiful seas, and the island looks so nice. Everything looks so nice. We're so chuffed to be there. And then as we get a bit closer, we realize these waves that are next to this island are fucking insane. Like
Massive.
waves. Yeah, proper waves and they're not like a smooth rolling wave. It's like up and then crash down. High up and crash down. Heavy waves.
Damn.
And we now have to offload 5 boats onto shore. Um, and we've all hung over, just had sitting in the sun for 4 or 5 hours, maybe longer, and now have to offload
Ah,
tents and water and yeah, like swimming with a 20-gallon drum of water like behind you, trying to get it to shore, and then get it, and then you get
that's
to
heavy.
shore, yeah, and then you get to shore and nice waves. Either the waves are fucking awful, and inside the waves are just like boulders of coral. So
I
you
see it's
you walk on the
surrounded
shore.
all by a coral reef, is what
Reef.
it says. Yeah.
So then it just breaks off chunks of coral, and you're trying to pull stuff onto the beach at the same time the waves are throwing chunks of coral at your ankles or
Yeah.
face or arm or whatever. If you fall over, you get rocked. I mean, it was just so bad. It was awful, and we
Like
got
a war.
everyone off. It was like the worst. And we offloaded. We got all this shit up. The canopy was up, and we put everything underneath. And everyone just like sat there, broken humans, broken, tough people. People who've like,
Rugby warriors.
yeah,
They've been
rugby
through the
warriors
shit.
through this shit. Safari guys who have been through this shit in the bush as well. Rough day. Every single person was broken. I bought. We. I went and bought like 7 cases of beer the day before. We're like getting pumped. We're like, yeah, we're gonna drink. We didn't have, I don't think anyone had a single beer on the first day. Not even one. Like, didn't open a beer. No one. It was rough. And then
And these
we,
waves, I'm just, trying to put a picture to mind. Ladies and gents, if you look at this island, it's out in the middle of the sea. So if you've been deep sea fishing, those waves are massive. So it's kind of like these waves are just uninterrupted, but hitting this island.
yeah, it's like big deep sea fishing waves, proper swell with big breakers.
For the first day, you survive, thank God. Hungover,
Yeah,
banged up, battling, corals smacking you in the face, but y'all stayed alive.
stayed alive.
No beers
Went
were
fishing that
drinking on
after.
the first day.
No, did some fishing in that afternoon, late afternoon. Caught a bit of fish here and there. Morale's got increased a bit,
Love that.
and we're sleeping in tents, obviously on the beach. So we
Hmm.
set up our tents. Everyone's good. Everyone's got their tent, and we for some reason went on full moon on spring tide, highest tide of the year, lowest tide of the year, like the craziest tides. So day one, we don't really know what to expect once the tide comes up, but we set up our tents like we thought we should. And the
Right.
nighttime tide is worse because the moon is what affects the tide. The nighttime tide is worse than the daytime tide. So that nighttime at 3 a.m., like 70% of us just all got rocked by a wave, like in our tents. Wake up
Shitty
3
way
a.m.,
to be
3:30
woken
a.m.
up. Shitty alarm.
Yeah, after dying all
Shitty
day,
alarm.
3:30 a.m. waves come in hard, and everyone's just like scrambling to try and get their shit out of the water, salt water everywhere, and everyone. I mean, like just fucked, and everyone's
Yeah.
awake now, trying to cluster closer together into the middle of this island and trying to find where we could possibly sleep.
Were
Oh,
y'all
by
the
the way,
only
the island is
people? Is there any other? Was there
on
any
one of the
other?
nights there was other people camping there, another like tourist group that came to go fishing just because they came to go fishing on Latham Island. But other than that, no, no one else.
I'll put an image
It's
up
also
of the island during this part of the story because I'm looking at it and I can envision all of this right now.
it's also like a breeding ground for a bunch of water birds, like lesser masked boobies is one of the species, and then a bunch of
Love
different
boobies.
terns. I'll do.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, there's these birds.
tons
There's
of
thousands
birds.
and thousands of birds just breeding on the island, and it smells like shit, and you get rocked by waves, and it's just an all around
Oh,
shit place.
I'm seeing these birds now. Holy shit, that's a lot of
Yeah,
birds.
a lot of birds, like
Whoa.
most birds you'd probably ever see in your life in one place. Um, yeah, so it was just a wild experience, and that was day one. And then day two, we did fishing, we're a bit settled and whatever, it's good, everything's good. Day two, still no one's really getting on the drinks, maybe a couple beers here and there. Um, and then day two, nighttime, waves got even worse. Even after everyone moved, still got rocked. Everyone
Oh,
awake again at 4 everyone again awake at 4 a.m.
soaking
Yeah,
wet.
soaking wet. My friend at this point had a wave came so hard, like ocean, like trash from the ocean into his tent because he left the door open because there's nothing to worry about out there. And he's got like cans of old motor oil cans inside of his tent. It's just like fuck.
Oh, hate
Day
that.
three, yeah. Day three, I think, was the only day we packed up everything and moved it to the one area we found and could huddle around and wasn't getting rocked by waves. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was good. And then day four was the trip back, and I had the craziest experience of my life fishing on the way back. We found this like thing they call FADs, fish aggregation devices. I think they're illegal some places, but we found one just floating in the middle of the ocean, and it's basically these things, the boxes that people design to make fish attracted to them
Like a
in the middle of
massive
nowhere, like
mouse
just a
trap,
big
but for
box.
fish.
Yeah, it doesn't trap. It doesn't trap. It just they just come near it. They come and chill underneath the shade of it.
Oh, okay.
Um, so yeah, we found this thing
Is it
and
illegal because these fish
collects the
unknowingly
are
to
attracted to
them,
it,
they just come to it and they stay there.
and then it makes it easier for people to just fish them, however, whatever. But
Boom, all
anyway,
day. About
all day, and I had never even seen one in real life. I've heard of them. I've seen them on
what's the
fishing
name of
shows
them
or whatever.
again?
A fish aggregation device, FAD, FAD, I think it's called.
Fish aggregation device.
Yeah,
Okay, so you'll come across this and
in the middle of the ocean, and my friend, I'm like, there's definitely going to be something underneath this thing, and lo and behold, we take one cast into this water with our rod, first reeling it in straight onto a fish, and that was a dorado or mahi mahi, I think you call them there.
yeah.
Straight first, and then I just continued to cast in there, and pretty much every time anything landed in the water, something would grab it. It was the most wild thing. I didn't believe that they were that good, but they're actually that good. I guess these things.
I'm looking at them
Um,
now. Yeah, they just like I'm running like flies to shit.
so we were just catching so many fish, and then my friend caught like a maybe like a 4 or 5 foot shark.